My name is Sofia. I am 28 years old. Right now, I am sitting in my car outside a restaurant. Two men that I love are inside that restaurant. They are about to meet each other for the first time. They do not know this yet. Tonight is going to change my whole life forever. I am scared, but I know I have to do this. Let me tell you how I got here. 2 months ago, my father called me with very bad news. He told me I had 90 days to find a husband or lose everything. The money, the company, the inheritance, all of it would be gone. I thought he was joking, but he was completely serious. My father is very sick, and his heart is failing. He only has about 1 year left to live. He does not want to leave his money to a woman who is alone. He believes I need a husband to protect me and take care of me. So I had 90 days to find a husband and decide my whole future. This was the most pressure I have ever felt in my life. I did not know what to do or where to start. The problem is that I fell in love with two men at the same time. I know that sounds wrong, and I know it was wrong, but my heart could not choose between them. The first man is Daniel. He is 32 years old and works as an architect. He is calm, smart, and plans everything very carefully. We met at a charity event and I liked him right away. When I am with Daniel, I feel safe and peaceful inside. I feel like everything in life is going to be okay. Daniel thinks I am a normal marketing consultant with a simple life. He has no idea about my money or my deadline. The second man is Rafael. He is 29 years old and owns a small restaurant in Brooklyn. He is full of life, energy, and passion for everything he does. When I am with Rafael, I feel completely alive and free. Rafael thinks I am a writer who does not have much money. He has no idea that I am actually very wealthy. He likes me for who I am, and that felt so good to me. That feeling was hard to give up. So I dated both of them at the same time. I saw Daniel on Tuesdays and Saturdays. I saw Rafael on Thursdays and Sundays. I kept both relationships completely separate from each other. Last week, Daniel told me he loved me in Central Park. He held my hands and said I was the one for him. My heart broke because he was being so honest, but I was lying to his face the entire time. 2 days after that, Rafael kissed me in his restaurant kitchen after closing time. He said I made him believe in things again. Those words hit me deeply in my heart. I felt completely torn in two. Then yesterday, everything fell apart all at once. I was having a nice dinner with Daniel at a restaurant in Manhattan. We were laughing and holding hands, and everything felt perfect. Then Rafael walked through the door. Rafael saw me sitting with Daniel, and his face completely changed. He turned around and walked straight back out the door. I jumped up and ran after him, leaving Daniel sitting alone and confused at the table. I caught up with Rafael on the sidewalk outside. He asked me who Daniel was, and I said just a friend. Rafael told me not to lie to him because he deserved better than that. He asked if I was dating Daniel, and I could not find any words to say. My silence gave him the answer he needed. Rafael laughed in a sad and bitter way. He said he thought I was a real and honest person. Then he walked away, and I stood there, shaking on the sidewalk. I went back inside to Daniel, and he asked if I was okay. I said yes, but I was not okay at all. That night I could not sleep. I kept seeing Rafael's face and the pain in his eyes. The next morning my father called and asked for my decision and a name. I had nothing to tell him, so I made a very bold and scary decision of my own. I decided to bring both men together and tell them everything. I called Daniel and told him to meet me at Rose's restaurant at 7 p.m. Then I called Rafael and told him the same thing. Neither of them knew the other one was coming. I was going to tell them the full truth and let them decide what they wanted to do. Now I am sitting outside in my car and my heart is beating very fast. My hands are shaking and I feel sick with nerves. This is either the bravest or the most stupid thing I have ever done in my life. I get out of the car and walk toward the restaurant. Rafael sees me near the entrance and asks what is going on. I ask him to please trust me and come inside. We walk in together and I see Daniel already sitting at a table. He smiles when he sees me, but the smile disappears when he notices Rafael beside me. I ask both of them to please sit down. They sit on opposite sides of the table and stare at each other. Then they both look at me, waiting for an explanation. I take a slow, deep breath and begin to speak. I tell them my real name is Sofia Reyes and that my father owns a very large company. I tell them I am worth millions of dollars and that I have 30 days to choose a husband. If I do not choose, my father will take away everything I own. Then I tell them the hardest part of all. I tell them I lied to both of them from the very beginning. I was never a marketing consultant, and I was never a struggling writer. I was a frightened and selfish woman who could not make a choice. I tell them I dated both of them because Daniel made me feel safe and Rafael made me feel alive. I could not choose between those two feelings, so I kept both of them. I tell them I am deeply sorry, and I ask if either of them can possibly forgive me. Daniel speaks first, and his voice is cold and flat. He says I lied to him for 2 full months and used him like a backup plan. I say yes to everything he says because it is all true. He stands up and says he cannot do this and walks straight out the door. Now it is just me and Rafael sitting in the restaurant. He is very quiet and his face is hard to read. He slowly says that I am rich, that I have 30 days to decide, and that I lied to him from the start. I say yes to all of it. Then Rafael leans forward and asks me why I did this. I tell him that when I was with him, I felt like a free person. I felt like someone with no pressure and no expectations. With him, I was just Sofia, and that felt more real than anything else in my life. Rafael says that person was built on lies and was not real. I tell him desperately that she is real. I tell him the money and the pressure are the fake parts of my life. I tell him he is the only real thing I have ever had. Rafael is quiet for a long time, and then he looks at me seriously. He says he has one question, and he needs the complete truth. He asks me if I love him. I say yes, without any hesitation at all. He asks if I loved Daniel too. I pause and think carefully. I tell him I thought I did, but it was a very different feeling. I tell him that now I only want Rafael and no one else. I tell him I will understand if he walks away right now. Rafael stands up and my heart completely sinks. But instead of walking away, he reaches out and takes my hand gently. He says he should walk away, and he knows that, but he cannot leave because he loves me too. He tells me firmly that we need rules going forward. No more lies about anything ever again. He also says he does not care about my money and does not want any part of it. If I choose him, then I choose his life, his restaurant, and his simple world. I tell him I do not want mansions or fancy dinners. I just want him and nothing else. He asks about my father and the inheritance. I tell him my father can donate every single penny to charity. I do not need the money as long as I have Rafael. Rafael smiles at me and says I am completely crazy. Then he kisses me right there in the restaurant in front of everyone. When we pull apart, he looks at me and quietly says, "Marry me." I laugh and cry at the exact same time. 3 weeks later, I married Rafael in a small, simple ceremony at his restaurant. My father did not come, and he cut me off completely, just like he promised. He donated everything to charity, and I lost all the money and the inheritance. But I did not cry about any of it. I have Rafael and his little restaurant, and a life that belongs to me. That is everything I ever truly needed. And I have never been happier in my entire life.